What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off in local news, a Taiwanese company has been included in a new wave of sanctions by the United States for supposedly helping supply the Russian military. The Treasury Department has frozen the assets of Sharp Edge Engineering, which it says served as a front company to purchase microelectronic components from Asia. The Treasury says this was on behalf of a Russian firm with ties to the military. The U.S. has imposed sweeping sanctions on Russia since the country invaded Ukraine in February. Taiwan's economics ministry says it is already aware of Sharp Edge and is also closely monitoring another company set up by the same founder. Foreign trade officials have been told to increase oversight of exports that could be used for military purposes. 2 people have been killed in Poland after a missile struck near the Ukrainian border on Wednesday. Polish authorities have described the missile as Russian-made. The country's government has launched an investigation into the incident, but is not treating it as an intentional attack. The blast comes amid large-scale Russian missile strikes on Ukraine, targeting power infrastructure across the country. World leaders held an emergency meeting at the G20 summit in Bali following the events in Poland. U.S. President Joe Biden said that it is unlikely that Russia was the source of the strike. Moscow has also denied any involvement. Poland is a NATO member, and the alliance has called an emergency meeting over the incident. Violent protests have taken place in China, signaling growing public anger over strict COVID restrictions. Crowds of people in the southern city of Guangzhou broke down COVID barriers, marched through the streets, and clashed with riot police. These events were captured on videos posted on social media. The rare violence and protests are seen as a sign that frustrations with China's zero-COVID approach are boiling over in the country. This is despite Beijing's move last week to lift some of the most stringent measures. China reported nearly 20,000 new COVID cases on Wednesday. Taiwanese voters are set to decide on whether to lower the voting age from 20 to 18. This referendum will be held alongside local elections on November 26th. There's broad support for the move, but as Rick Lauer reports, it might not be enough.
Taiwan's president addresses a crowd of young people. A photo of her at 18 flashes on screen. With that photo, President Taiwan is making a point, throwing her political weight behind the campaign to change Taiwan's constitution and lower the voting age to 18. In Taiwan, 18-year-olds can get married, they can stand trial as an adult, and they can even be called up to serve in the military. But the country's constitution says they must be 20 before they can vote for public representatives. It's one of just a handful of countries around the world with such a high voting age. In a nation often divided on political issues, lowering the voting age has rare broad support from politicians across different parties. But the public is undecided.
确实他们跟以前比能接触到的东西更多了，那有新的改变，台湾才会改变。
不重要，就是我觉得慢慢长大，就是你会比较有自己的想法。我觉得20岁差不多吧，18岁可能还有一点青涩。
It's a numbers game to reach the threshold for the referendum to pass. Constitutional amendments by referendum require 50% of the electorate to vote in favour of the change. That means 9.65 million voters need to approve it. None of the last 4 referendums passed in Taiwan due to a low voter turnout. And ultimately, whether Taiwan's youngest adults can have a greater political voice is down to the support of their elders, who already have full voting rights. Andy Xue and Rick Lauert for TaiwanPlus.
The neighborhood chief is the lowest level of office up for election this year. The posts are normally held by older people, but more and more young people are getting involved in local government. Standing at the intersection, directing traffic, helping people cross the street. This isn't a traffic officer. He's a neighborhood chief in Taiwan's capital, Taipei. Jimmy Chen was only 25 when he was elected in 2019, becoming the youngest to hold the post in the city's history. And now, he's seeking a second term.
第一个是一个使命感，就是既然我已经选择这条路，那我觉得4年有很多事情是做不完的。对我来说，我觉得8年啦会是比较完整的。
The position of neighborhood chief is the lowest rung in Taiwan's government. Its main duty is to take care of the residents in each constituency. This ranges from settling interpersonal disputes to checking up on older citizens. It's also unique in Taiwan's democratic system. There are no term limits. People can keep doing the job as long as they win elections. Chen grew up in this neighborhood, but he hadn't planned on becoming a local chief. He decided to pursue that path during his military service with the Kaohsiung Fire Department 6 years ago.
我自己家里其实有遇到一些事情是跟公部门相关，我因为自己的经验，再加上这个替代役的经验，觉得说如果这样的事情发生在我自己的周边，如果我是一个里长的话，我会有一些能力去阻止这些应该处理的事情，可是却被恶意的施压，或者是就被模糊带掉。
Chen is now 29, and that's still considered young in this political environment. 66-year-old Liao Qingtong is running for a third term and can often be seen directing traffic alongside Chen. He's been a local chief for 8 years in a neighboring constituency.
我之前就是在警察单位，103年从大同警备队长退休，然后下来马上接着年底也参加里长选举。
He says his years of public service have given him an advantage.
我个人感觉啦，我这个是公务员退休，我有月退休俸，我子女也长大了，我经济上没有后顾之忧，那可以全心全力的来冲刺这个里长职务。我个人认为我的精神体力还可以。
But the landscape is changing, with the younger generations wanting more of a say in their society. Since 2014, the number of candidates under the age of 30 has increased by almost 40%. And experts say the sunflower movement, a widespread protest against a controversial trade agreement with China agreed by the then-ruling Kuomintang, was instrumental in this.
自从2014年的太阳花学运之后，那么许多年轻人感觉到，其实我们是有可能来影响政治的。那么这个政治参与感呢，也比过去来得高。再加上呢，政党以及各种社会团体大力的鼓吹年轻人要参与政治，要走入基层。
But local residents are split on whether less experienced candidates can do the job.
我觉得能为这个里做事的里长就是好的能力。那跟年龄的话，可能应该没有什么太大的关联。
多多少少应该有点关系，因为就是比较老的里长可能经验会比较老道，会知道的事情也比较多，所以可能还是有一点关系。
In a democratic society, there are many possibilities. The recent emergence of young people as candidates has injected new vitality into Taiwan's grassroots politics. While old chiefs may find there's more competition, for voters, it means more options. Police in northern Taiwan have made more arrests in an ongoing crackdown on extortion and kidnapping rings. 2 arrests were made in New Taipei City, where a 38-year-old being held captive by one of the gangs was rescued. A further 4 arrests were also made in neighboring Taoyuan City. A nationwide police campaign targeting kidnap and extortion rings has netted over 1,200 arrests in the past week. Taiwanese martial artist Ling has bagged her first silver medal at the World Taekwondo Championships in Mexico. Luo lost in the women's 57-kilogram final to China's Luo Zongsi. The Chinese athlete was on the front foot from the fight start. She won the first round 2-1 and broke a tie in the second under the event's new best-of-3 format. Despite losing the match, this was Luo's best international performance so far. After taking home the bronze at the Tokyo Olympics last year, she placed 11th in the world in her weight class. Her silver in Mexico is sure to move her up in the rankings. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of luxurious accommodations aboard one of the largest cruise ships in the world. Some guests will be staying here during the World Cup in Qatar. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.